Hey guys, Craig here, Product Manager at Broker Engine. Inside of your practice, there will always be tasks that need to be done that are sort of very much ad hoc. I use Broker Engine in my practice, and you can just about automate every task and checklist item that you want and set it to a condition. If it's a lender rebate, tick one box and it will update the whole system with the relevant tasks and checklists to make sure the rebate gets paid and the client gets the experience they like. But there's always going to be those ad hoc tasks, those ad hoc things, just for that particular client that, you can't really write a system about. An example for me recently was I was doing an internal refinance back to a particular lender. They were divorcing, and I took it back to the same lender, and the lender said that, look, just let us know on settlement and we will make sure we get your commission paid. That would be one example. Another example might be, look, you might have gone variable to begin with because the client doesn't want to pay fixed rate lock, but potentially at settlement you want to discuss with the client, hey, now that it's settled, here's the current fixed rates, what do you think? And I want to show you how I would manage that in my practice, because what I don't want to be doing as a broker is holding those things in my head. And I want to make sure I do them so my client gets a great experience, and obviously in my first example, I actually get paid for my work. So I want to show you how I manage those sort of ad hoc tasks so that I put them in the system, it's gone from my head, and I know when it gets to the right stage, they will be completed. The first way we can deal with that inside of Broker Engine is, typically speaking, most of our users would have a checklist structure that looks something like this. And so, for example, if I wanted to make sure that at settlement, a particular item was done, this is all the standard items we would do for our settlement checklist. Sorry, that's the standard stuff we would do. I can actually do a quick add question. Please check with client RE, fixing in the loan. So that's your first option you could do. Add it to the settlement checklist. Your team, when they come to complete that settlement checklist and they update their first payment due dates and so on, they would also make sure we check in with the client for that particular item. The second way you could achieve it, and of course I can't complete the settlement checklist unless I've done the whole checklist. So we know it's going to be done. If it doesn't reach settlement, nothing happens because it didn't reach settlement, so no one needs to do anything anyway. The second way we can deal with that is we can use a task, but rather than having a task set for a date, we can set it for a stage. So we can say, okay, on settlement, at settlement, email BDM to have commission paid. All right, so email BDM to have commission paid. You put it through an item. Now, this task will only pop up on your team's task list should the deal actually reach settlement. So it's not based on a date, it's based on a stage. If the deal reaches stage settlement from here, then a task will be created. You can also say notify me once that task is completed. So that'll pop into the team's task list on settlement. Only on settlement, it won't show up before then, so no one's going to have to think about it or do anything on it. If the deal does reach settlement, hopefully it does, then there'll be a task here to do it. You can put in the description down here, do this, and the broker is also going to be reminded, or whoever's going to be reminded, when that task is marked complete as well. Craig Vaughan here, Product Manager at Broker Engine. That is one way of just managing those little niggly things that you can't write a process for, but you don't want to be carrying around in your head, and you want to make sure that you provide great service and you do what you say you're going to do when you tell your client you're going to do something for them. Reach out, jump onto a demo, brokerengine.com.au/demo.